Hello, so we are going to complete our texture rubbing skill builder pages. So our first one looks like this. We have a lizard and a dinosaur, and texture rubbing plates look like this. Sometimes they are a color, a solid color like red or yellow or blue, but most of them are clear like this, and they have a pattern on them. And if you feel them with your fingers, one side feels bumpier than the other side. So the side that feels the bumpiest to you is the side that goes up. So you're gonna pick a texture rubbing plate, figure out which side is bumpier. This side to me is bumpier, so I'm gonna lay it down. And you're gonna put that underneath your lizard. And then you're gonna pick a color, any color, and you're gonna neatly color in your lizard with the texture rubbing plate underneath it. And can you hear that? That's what it sounds like when you're coloring over a texture rubbing plate. And you can see the texture on my plate is showing up on my lizard. You don't want to move the paper. You want to try and keep it still. And sometimes if you get to a part you feel and the texture rubbing plate isn't under your lizard or your dinosaur, then you kind of have to move the texture rubbing plate under there. But you can see I got this nice pattern. Texture is how something feels or how it looks like it feels. So we can kind of feel this pattern on our lizard, but we can also see it with our eyes. This, I say pattern, but it's really texture. Texture is a repeated pattern to show how something feels or how it looks like it feels. So I have one here that's got this wood grain to it. So I'm going to put that under my dinosaur, pick a new color for my dinosaur, and color right on top. I don't want you to just scribble, and I'm trying to color neatly, not color in the eye, not color in the nose or the teeth. Maybe I'll even try to do the spots a different color. So typically with texture rubbing plates, you draw something and then you put it, when you add the color, which should be colored pencil or crayon, marker will not work on texture rubbing plates. When you add the color, you put the plate underneath your drawing and you color it in with the plate underneath there. Oops, I have some more spots here I didn't see. All right, and then we remove the texture rubbing plate, and that's how we complete our first texture rubbing plate skill builder page. And now we have a second one to practice. Hello, so we are going to draw this cityscape down here in this rectangle. We're going to follow these 9 steps. So we're going to start with the step 1, which is to draw a sidewalk. So I'm going to draw a long line across the bottom. Now I'm drawing with a black pen so you can see on the screen a little bit better than if I were to draw with pencil. Then I'm going to draw a rectangle that's not very tall. Then I'm going to draw a rectangle that's behind this first rectangle but is much taller. So I'm going to go up, across, and then back down. Then I'm going to come across and back down. Okay, and then we have these vertical lines to represent the windows. Now this cityscape doesn't really fill the rectangle, so I have all this blank space over here. So maybe you could draw like a car or a truck here, or you could do what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add some more buildings. I'll add 2 more buildings. Okay, so now you're going to color in with crayon because we're using texture rubbing plates. Now remember, texture rubbing plates really the only things that work on texture rubbing plates are crayons and color pencils. Trying to do marker with this will not work. So the first thing you do is you pick a texture rubbing plate, you pick the side that's the bumpiest to go underneath your work. I want you to use a different texture rubbing plate for each building. So I'm going to color in this building. Using that texture rubbing plate, I'm going to switch it out for a different one, put it underneath, pick a different color for the second building. All right, and then I'm not going to use the texture rubbing plates for the rest of this. I'm just going to color this in the sidewalk and the sky just without texture. So I would like you to color in this entire rectangle. Don't leave any white showing unless you want to leave the windows white. And that's how you complete your second texture rubbing plate skill builder. Bring it to me and I'll give it a stamp.